Hello everyone, I am Hannah Middleton, the Knowledge Exchange Lead at the Fashion Business School. Welcome to our second day in the Fashion Means Business 2020 takeover. This event runs for a week and focuses on our 4 pillars of people, planet, profit and purpose. Today the focus is on people, and it seemed appropriate to invite Nuw to speak, who despite social distancing have launched a brand that encourages social interaction pre-lockdown, during lockdown. I'm not too sure of the exact dates, but very recently. So I welcome Alex Farley-Wood, Communications Manager from Nuw, and Roisin Kelly, COO from Nuw, and I hand over to both of you. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. That's really kind of you. I'm just going to share my screen now so you guys can see what we're going to be talking about today, I guess.
Sorry, Alex, can I just add, there will be time at the end for questions. And I know you've also got a quiz lined up with prizes. So
yes,
make sure everyone's listening well.
Yes, definitely. So we'll actually have quite a few prizes at the end. So definitely stay tuned. Just to check, you're able to see my screen? Awesome. Okay, so hi, I'm Alex Farley-Wood and I'm the Communications Manager for Nuw, which is the app and community for swapping and sharing your wardrobe. So thank you, Hannah, Fashion Business School and London College of Fashion for inviting us to join you this morning to talk about closing the loop in fashion consumption. So I just want to kick off with a question. So who knows where your clothes are from? I'm not talking about where they're from, like Zara, Topshop, wherever. I mean, where they're from. So who's made them? How were they made? How did the clothes you're wearing right now kind of come into existence? The sad truth is that not many people know. So kudos, obviously, if you do. But someone had to be the reason you're wearing what you're wearing today. And that's something that we're going to explore through this talk. It's obviously a very social issue in fashion. And we kind of treat it as a very personal issue. And I think one of the great things now is that people are learning the truths behind it and how it works. And obviously that's what we're going to talk about today. So as Hannah said, heads up, there will be a pop quiz at the end of this session. Sorry to make it sound like a lecture or an exam. So just pay attention. The winner will get 6 months free on the Nuw app. Second place will get 3 months and third place will get a whole month free, which basically means unlimited fashion to swap and borrow without buying anything new. So let's kick off with the fashion industry. Obviously, it's very large and very complex, so I'll try and make this introduction as accessible as possible. Obviously, you guys have a benefit of knowing some of this, so sorry if it's any repetitive information that you already know. But of course, if you have any questions, feel free to submit them in the Q&A box and we'll get to them at the end. So as a quick definition, fast fashion is the concept of inexpensive clothing produced rapidly by mass market retailers in response to the latest trends. The production and disposal of clothes has massively accelerated. So these days we're wearing more clothes for shorter time periods and throwing them away a lot more often. Clothes shopping used to be an occasional event, so something that happened a few times a year when the season changed or when we outgrew what we had. But this obviously feels like a distant memory now. Around 20 years ago, something changed. And clothes became cheaper, trend cycles sped up, and shopping became a form of entertainment. Enter fast fashion's buy, wear, and dispose model, and the global chains that now dominate high streets and online. So there's a lot of problems with the industry, but if the aim is to wear clothes, and more than that, to wear clothes that are beautiful and make us feel good, I believe that this is possible. And we at Nuw believe this is possible. It's just not with the fashion system that we know today. So let's have a little look at the challenges that we face and get to know the facts a little bit more. So 2,700 litres of water and 3,100 grams of carbon dioxide go into the production of one cotton t-shirt. To put it into perspective, around 2,700 litres of water is 22 full bathtubs. And the 3,100 grams of carbon dioxide is the same as driving a car for around 7 miles. All for just one cotton t-shirt that we'll probably only wear it a handful of times and will likely go to charity or in the bin, wherever it may end up. But that's not the full picture, because obviously cotton is in some ways a good crop. It's a natural fiber, but it's a very thirsty crop, which means that it uses a huge amount of water and toxic pesticides to grow. The best demonstration of this is probably with the Aral Sea. It was a large sea in Uzbekistan, which has dried up due to the increasingly intensive cotton farming in the surrounding land. So one thing to take away from that is that we can look for certified organic sources to make sure that fabric is produced as nature intended. Plant-based fibers like Pinatex, Tencel, and Veganol are a better way to go, but they're just not the norm just yet. So now we think about the production process. Okay, we understand the material. Now let's look at the chemicals that go into it. Ursula de Castro is the founder of Fashion Revolution, a fantastic woman. And she says there is a joke in China that you can tell the it color of the season by looking at the color of the rivers. In China, which is the factory of the world, it's estimated that 70% of the rivers and lakes are contaminated by the 2.5 billion gallons of wastewater produced by the textile industry. Factories largely located in developing economies often don't abide by the standards to control waste produced in the production process. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the blue dogs of Mumbai, who were dyed in the season's color because of the intensive dyeing process being used in nearby factories. This obviously then affects people's drinking water, and it often happens in water-scarce countries. So the solution for that, we need to shift towards natural dyes, which can be broken down in the environment, and proper water filtration. Now let's look at working conditions. In the fashion industry, they're not good enough, is pretty much the easiest way to say it. Over 1,000 people died in the horrible Rana Plaza building collapse in Dhaka in Bangladesh in 2013. Within the garment industry, many workers are forbidden from unionizing and don't actually have a voice. So in the Rana Plaza incident, workers complained about safety conditions but were forced to continue working. And sadly, most of the greatest abuses happen outside of the formal factories. Much of the detailed work, like sequins and beading, is outsourced to small home factories, which frequently use child labor. Industry standard certifications such as the Fair Wear Foundation ensures ethical employment practices, but this needs to be widespread across fashion brands. So Fashion Checker, I believe, did a survey of brands, and 93% are not paying garment workers a living wage. To put that in perspective, that's 0 of the world's biggest fashion brands. And now looking into landfill, this is something that we cover quite intensively with Nuw, and don't worry, it's going to get happier in a minute. I know this is a lot of hardcore information. But just to think about the amount of landfill and the amount that goes to waste, over 200 million tons of toxic garment of waste goes to landfill each year. It's hard to conceptualize that amount of waste, but it kind of demonstrates how we now view clothes as almost single-use items. I think it's an average of 3 or 4 times an item of clothing is worn before it's deemed as old. It's now the new standard. So many clothes that go into landfill have barely been worn. And if we think about all the resources they've used, it really makes no sense. And now looking at those that maybe don't end up straight in landfill, but we try and do something different with. So only 10% of clothes that have been donated to charity shops are actually sold on the shop floor. A lot of charity shops receive like bins and like trash and destroyed clothing that cannot be resold. And a particularly worrying part of this statistic is that many of the unsold clothes in charity shops are sent to developing countries, which has undercut the local garment industries in many places, and also means that much of the waste is not properly disposed of, as there's seldom the right infrastructure. So in Haiti, for example, where this photo was taken, there used to be a vibrant clothing economy made up of local artisans, but with this influx of cheap secondhand donations, a lot of this industry has been destroyed. And then we have the big C. Obviously, we are in the middle of a global pandemic, and the clothing industry is not alone in facing disruptions on the onset of coronavirus. So obviously, we've seen stores closed around the world and consumer demand in a dramatic decline. So many major clothing brands and retailers chose to push their financial fallout onto garment workers and factories. So in Bangladesh alone, brands cancelled or put on hold over $3 billion worth of completed and in-process clothing orders. To put this into perspective, clothing brands often pay for their orders that they put in once they've been delivered, and often a month after the fulfillment has been met. This is more rightly owed to factories for work that's already been done, costs already incurred on behalf of brands and retailers. So with no source of income, millions of the women who are garment workers who sew our clothes will end up starving on the streets of supplier countries like Bangladesh, Cambodia, and even the United States. The Pay Up campaign, #PayUp, demands that brands pay for the in-production and completed orders in full and on time, including fabric that factories have already paid for. So rather than abandon their supply, chain partners and the women who have kept their business profitable for decades. You are not alone. This is all very overwhelming, but we're in this together. So globally per year, $500 billion worth of unused clothes end up in landfill. That's 13 million items of clothing heading to the landfill each week in the UK. So instead, let's take it from a different perspective. Let's look at that $500 billion of clothes worth saving, work worth justifying, and fashion worth wearing. We're coming from a place of zero judgment. We're all educating ourselves at the same time and educating others to enjoy fashion that's much better for our planet. And the best part is it's like really, really easy to do. For background information, I used to shop fast fashion like a lot. And I know that sounds really typical, like I was once like you and now I discovered this and I'm changed, like some random like beauty commercial. But genuinely, I would get a new order from ASOS every single week, return almost everything, and because it didn't fit or it didn't quite look right, or I had no idea why I bought it in the first place. But the thing is, my crappy ASOS purchases that I managed to keep hold of or didn't return in time have now amounted in my wardrobe and need somewhere to go. So there's me who has done that. There's my friends who have also done the same thing, and their friends who have done the same thing, all with a bunch of clothes in their wardrobe that is just not getting that love and isn't finding a place. A really good way to put that into perspective and to compare that is that waste is only waste when it's wasted. So now what? Obviously, there is a climate justice issue. We in the developed world have basically ruined the planet and enjoyed the benefits of fast fashion. So who are we to say that developing markets can't do the same? The implications of the whole world moving to a fast fashion model would be catastrophic. Luckily, there's a lot of people learning about the fashion industry, like us, and finding ways to make a difference. It can be pretty daunting, and there's a lot of information about bad things happening, and we might not know where to start, but we can do it together. That's what Fashion Revolution is doing. They're asking who made our clothes and demanding recognition for the lives of people who create the clothes we wear every day. And that's part of what we'll be exploring today. So Orsola de Castro, who I mentioned earlier, says it best. Be curious, find out, and do something. So let's continue. So Fashion Revolution, who I just mentioned, are probably the first go-to point when changing habits in the search for a more sustainable fashion industry. There's a growing movement rising up against fast fashion and a lot of ways that you can get involved and support the Fashion Revolution. So definitely keep an eye out for events for Fashion Revolution Week, which happens in April, but there's also just plenty to do around all year. So let's get started. Meet the hierarchy of needs. And it's basically a guide for your wardrobe. So with Nuw, we definitely focus on the bottom half, swapping, borrowing, and using what you have. But before we get to Nuw, let's explore some of the easy changes that fit into the top half of this pyramid. Only buying what you need. It seems really simple, but we can all question our own shopping habits, and it can be really hard to do. It's become kind of second nature to just buy yourself something if you've had a bad day or a good day, but we often have a lot more clothes than we need. The 30 wears challenge is a very, very good tip. So you only purchase something if you're sure you'll wear it 30 times. This was started by Livia Firth at Eco Age. Basically, if you don't wear an item in your wardrobe at least 30 times, it's not a sustainable piece to have in your wardrobe. In the current situation, we're not really going anywhere. So now is kind of the perfect time to start not buying new and getting into that practice. So you can try setting yourself a challenge of not buying new unless it's the essentials. And the chances are you'll find loads of clothes that are new to you that have just been sitting in your wardrobe waiting for you to rediscover them. Another really good way to take care of your wardrobe is just give it some TLC. So learning how to look after your clothes can seriously extend their life cycle by like a lot. Think about it, it's too often that we see a small stain or a slight tear, and it means that clothes go straight in the bin. That's throwing away the effort that was put into that one piece of clothing in its production, and it's most likely going to end up in landfill, probably not decomposing all that well. So you can check out the Love Your Clothes campaign, who give frequent helpful tips on mending your wardrobe. Wash at 30 degrees or choose eco settings on your washing machine. Investing in tools like guppy bags are actually a really great way to reduce the volume of microplastic added to the water stream after a wash. And as a weird, interesting fact, The CEO of Levi's actually recommends putting your jeans in the freezer to clean them rather than washing them. So you can get your thread, your needle, or your freezer to repair and upcycle and take care of your clothes. It makes them last a lot longer and you're not adding to the environment. Slow and steady. So slow fashion is becoming a very new term and very new concept, but it's been around for a really long time. So you can shop secondhand and make the most of what's already been created through charity shops and Depop. I know Depop is my best friend and it's probably a lot of yours as well. It's such a great place to find clothing that just needs a new life and you're willing to give it. It's also quite cheap a lot of the time, which means it's very nice on your pockets. And lastly, we have sharing and swapping your clothes with Nuw. So you can make the most out of your and others' wardrobes, and we can enjoy fashion by giving life to the clothes that already exist and reduce our impact together. So there's a lot of platforms actually at the moment with clothes rental, such as Rotaro and On Loan, who allow people to rent clothes for a limited amount of time, again, not adding to buying anything new. Or you can join a community with a subscription to unlimited fashion. You get to borrow and swap for free. So Nuw is an accessible and affordable social network to enjoy fashion without harming the environment. You don't have to buy new clothes or pay per item, and you can borrow, say, a different outfit for 4 weddings in the same month for only £8. Maybe even swap your entire wardrobe out in the same month. I don't know what you want to do, but you have that option. So how it works? It's kind of like a social network. So all members pay a monthly subscription fee of $7.99 or less, depending on your payment model. And you can contribute your own pieces to the collective wardrobe. So a renewer uploads their clothes to share, browses the wardrobe platform is the same as wardrobe, I guess, in this case, and requests to borrow and swap with a like-minded community in a safe and secure manner. So you get to borrow the pieces you want just for a while, lend pieces you love and want to keep but aren't wearing enough, and swap those pieces that it's time to consciously uncouple with, because sometimes it's just for the best. A token system rewards members for the quality of the pieces they upload, which they can then exchange for an item of a similar value, just like a regular clothes swap. So what do you get? I think is probably the next big question that you want to hear. Your wardrobe is shared with a fantastic community, like this borrowed self-portrait dress living its best life at 3 different events with 3 different renewers. You can also trade out those pieces that you don't want anymore for something completely new to you. So like Jenny did with her dress for Jade, and Kimberly's coat finding a permanent new home with Ruth. You're also making a positive impact on the environment, and you can learn the carbon, water, and waste you save with each share, and you save money. So buying new NEW things all the time or every season can be pretty draining on your bank account, but borrowing and swapping means saving pennies. On Nuw, you pay subscription for access and then you borrow and swap for free. Now, our purpose, obviously every company needs one, is that we believe every item of clothing should be worn or loved, and to get that full life, giving a purpose to why we're wearing it and justifying the work that went into its creation in the first place. The most sustainable thing you can own is already in your wardrobe, or maybe it's in someone else's. So underpinning this mission is a great team. There's only 4 of us. We are very small, but we get the job done. So we have Aisling, who is our CEO with a background in media and sustainable fashion. Roisin is our COO and here on this call with us today, who has a background in fashion merchandising and commercial management. Paddy is Nuw's CTO and full stack developer, having previously led tech teams at both Zalando and HubSpot. And I am obviously our communications manager and social media extraordinaire, building the Nuw brand and community. We all come from different walks, but we all have one shared goal: to change fashion's impact on the environment and empower others to do the same. We're all also very different people, as you can tell from our star signs and our Hogwarts houses, but together we work really well and we all have that shared goal to kind of keep us moving in the same direction. Not only do we all come from completely different backgrounds, but it really works for a startup. And in comparison to a retail brand, it's kind of necessary for us to all be completely different people. We all wear a lot of hats, I suppose you could say. We work across 3 different countries. Some of us have never even met each other because of the pandemic. But this is kind of the new normal. So we meet twice a day, we chat, we have drinks, and work together to create a platform for everyone. As you can see here, some of the different roles that we take on are completely different to what we would normally do. Aisling is real-time customer support and has our community's WhatsApp numbers and is chatting to them at all times of the day. Roisin has begun learning coding so that she can help out with some of the more analytical side. I've started doing app design, which I never in a million years thought I'd ever do. And Paddy is also our SEO expert and takes content marketing from his previous job, and he brings it into this new place. So I guess you could say, yeah, we wear a lot of hats. Of course, it's not just us behind Nuw. So we have a fantastic community of like-minded people looking to change fashion consumption for good. Pre-pandemic, the bond with our community was much more face-to-face. So our founder, Aisling, would meet with new members personally, grabbing a coffee while dropping off a borrowed dress and hosting events to share and swap with renewers. But our shift to connecting in a virtual space has been pretty natural, with our community growing thanks to a recent nationwide expansion across both the island and the UK. Zoom chats and quiz nights are now more of an opportunity for renewers to chat with each other and hang out in a safe space, even if they might never have met. We have people from Edinburgh to, I don't know, Cork, like people from all over who now get the opportunity to chat with each other. So we host community events and coffee mornings, obviously all online for now, and build a big group of people who want to do something to help the environment. We have ambassadors in our 3 major cities, which is London, Dublin, and Cambridge. We have all really become friends with each other, which is probably the nicest thing, and ensure that we emphasize that community comes first. Anyone is welcome to join, obviously, and it makes Nuw more than a clothes sharing app, it's a social network. So our members then grow more users, obviously, within their local communities. You tell your friends about Nuw and extend your wardrobe through word of mouth. Fashion and clothes is something that everyone has access to, and it will always be there, likelihood. So by joining the Nuw community, you can share your clothes with others and find pieces from people in your area, and you don't really have to buy new clothes again. So how are we doing this in the middle of a global pandemic? We have help. So we've partnered with some incredible companies over the last few months, all with the same mission of reducing fashion's impact. Companies like Lost Stock are selling some of those abandoned clothes from brands cancelling orders to people who are willing to help, where each box bought will provide a garment worker in Bangladesh with a week's worth of wages, helping over 100,000 workers and their families to date. We've also partnered with Love Not Landfill and the North London Waste Authority to hold a weekly stop and swap, which is available for anyone living and working in North London. So heads up if you are one of those people. As swap shops obviously can't be held in real life right now, we provide a platform for them to host their community for 2 hours a week. We also have Lauren Bravo, who is a fantastic thought leader in this industry and wrote the book, How to Break Up with Fast Fashion. She has recently been partnering with us and contributing to our blog with Wardrobe Stories, which is a really exciting dive into some amazing people's wardrobes and the stories behind them. She's interviewed Becky, who's the Nifty Thrifter, Vanisha Lamana, Ban Pesci, and many more to come. Also, she's the most fantastic writer, so definitely have a read of those if you have any time, because it's just music to my ears. We also have worked with the Dublin Simon community. So this is a charity shop in Ireland where we source a lot of our stock. They provide fantastic pieces that we can add to our inventory and find a new home via Nuw. And we can contribute to their efforts to end homelessness across Ireland. Birdsong is also a fantastic initiative employing women, often refugees, who face barriers to employment in the UK and pay them a London living wage. The pieces that they create are absolutely beautiful, and we partner with them for competitions and to borrow pieces on the Nuw App. The greatest thing about Nuw is that it's been built by a community for a community, and that's how it will continue to grow. So Aisling, our founder, again, said this quote, and I just absolutely love it. And I think it's always so applicable. But she says, as owners of our clothes, we have the responsibility to give them a full life. We can't always do that individually, but a community working together can. Thank you very much. And now we have time for Q&A.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Do we have any questions coming through?
See at the moment.
I also hope everyone was listening, because as I said, there will be.
I think it was just so informative that obviously there is no need for any questions.
We bypassed questions. Oh, fabulous. Okay, so I can see that Sarah said, do you think this model is more appealing to men, women, or certain age groups? Definitely. So at the moment, we are more focused on women's clothing, just because it's more applicable. Women have often faced more issues within the fast fashion industry, and men often don't find that problem, but we're not saying that they don't have it. We've also seen a massive influx in Gen Z and younger generations who are definitely buying into this kind of secondhand model, clothes sharing, not so much clothes renting. Obviously it can be quite expensive, but there is definitely a shift towards a more secondhand industry with them. One thing that we are trying to do is trying to make this as accessible and applicable for everybody. So it means that at one point we want Nuw to be available for every single person, it to be not like a second thought at all. But as we are quite small, we're still growing, but it is our hope in the future that this will be for everybody.
You have a question from Emily. How do you partner with sustainable brands?
So we partnered with Birdsong, as I mentioned previously, who is a fantastic sustainable brand. I think if you don't buy Nuw, you should buy from sustainable brands. Obviously it can be quite pricey, but we like to partner with them in a way of sharing their inventory on our platform, and giving people the opportunity to swap and borrow with them. As I said before, it can often be quite expensive. We're also working on partnering with a collection of brands to launch a unique swap shop, which will feature a lot of their pieces. This is in the works at the moment, so I won't speak too much about it. But we really enjoy partnering with sustainable brands, meeting new people and incredible people at that who are powering such a great mission. And yeah, just trying to build a platform for them and for people to enjoy the clothes that they create.
Brilliant. Alex, at the moment it's just available in the UK and Ireland, is that right?
Yeah, just in the UK and Ireland at the moment.
Okay, so is there plans to roll this out to other countries?
Absolutely.
Whether or not the model would apply to developing world as well as the developed world? Yeah.
So one thing, of course, again, we are small and we have just started, but we would love to expand naturally as quickly as possible and make Nuw kind of like the norm and your kind of go-to platform for new fashion. I think thinking about the response in third world countries, we obviously want it to be acceptable there. Whether it will be a different model for them or how it will work, we're not sure. But like in the future, like it would be great to just be absolutely everywhere.
Small steps, but you've done
small
quite
steps
in the past. Watch this space.
Definitely. We only just expanded to the UK and Ireland. So.
Yeah, and we've been in a pandemic where.
And a pandemic.
We're meant to be social distancing rather than, you know. So a question about just cleaning of the clothes. Obviously that's something that you mentioned. We could perhaps ourselves try and reduce consumption by appropriately cleaning our clothes. Any further tips than whatever you have already shared?
Definitely. So with borrowing and like lending of clothes on the platform, cleaning instructions are provided. We give detailed information about how to clean the clothes. Each item of clothing that is lent or borrowed has a value attached to it. So if any damage is incurred or if anything is not up to standard, then we will check on that. We're also partnering with an insurance team at the moment. Roisin, if you want to chat about that a little bit.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, so we're just in the current process of working with Superhog, who are actually who work with Airbnb, providing insurance for them. It's actually more of a deposit guarantee than insurance, but basically offering our lenders that kind of security of lending out expensive pieces means they are then covered if there's any case of damages from the borrower side. So it's quite good with them. It's a new kind of model for them. So we're working together to kind of create a more new approach to something that's never been done before, I suppose, in terms of offering this kind of guarantee to pieces of clothing. So that's what we're rolling out at the moment.
Can I just ask actually, do you tend to see all levels of products? So do you tend to see expensive products and then sort of more the cheaper end of products all being shared on your platform?
Yeah, we've got a wide range, to be honest. And actually, Obviously the borrowing kind of lends itself probably to more higher end pieces, as it's more for occasion wear, but then swapping, which we've obviously seen a big increase in since probably with obviously COVID and the change in mindset of people's behavior and more that kind of casual end and more kind of like high street pieces. So it's great to see that we do have such a variation though. So she's coming to us still for like from both ends of the scale.
Accessible for all. Question just in the chat: how can the industry convince people on low incomes to buy more expensive, slow, ethical pieces? Obviously, you made reference to the sort of movement of slow fashion. You know, how is this going to be possible when, you know, some people may have a limited budget, which doesn't extend beyond cheap high street fashion?
I think that's definitely one of the issues that we have at the moment, is that slow fashion is expensive in general. I know that Aisling, our founder, obviously when they were turning away from fast fashion, it was really difficult to find a sustainable solution that was also affordable. Like, you come out of university or you're in university, you don't have that much money, things are expensive, like we all get it. So the reason behind creating Nuw was much of it being affordable and it being an accessible solution for everyone to kind of access fashion without costing a leg and an arm to buy it, but also without costing the environment, the cost of production of that. I completely agree. I think the problem is that cheap high street fashion pieces are affordable and easy to get. Like, you can just pop up the street and you can go and grab something for like £3 that you'll probably wear for like a little bit. But one thing that we want to champion with Nuw is it's as affordable as fast fashion, even maybe more affordable, because you only pay that standard subscription and you can swap things as much as you like. And whether that's just a new top from Topshop, or if that's like a beautiful coat from Zara, or if it's like an amazing dress from Birdsong, the brand that we were speaking about before. These are all the kind of different things that you can find on the Nuw platform. So you're not really limiting the kind of things that you can enjoy, you're just changing the model. So it's less shopping, it's more, well, I suppose it is kind of shopping. It's like just swapping and making the most of what's already out there, instead of going to Primark or to New Look and finding something there.
I think we're all guilty of getting bored of our wardrobes. So perhaps it's a way of getting around that, but not having to dig too deep into our pockets. And yeah,
exactly, especially in a time like this. Like, we've all been sitting with the same wardrobe for like 9 months or however long we've been in this pandemic. So it's definitely a good time to kind of reflect on what you have, and like, if you want to mix it up, then you can just upload it onto Nuw and find something completely different really easily and affordably as well.
So yeah, we have, as you mentioned, Alex, all been locked down. There is just a question here about what do you think is the future of retail? So they've actually said physical retail, but I mean, I suppose retail as a whole. What is the future?
I think we think together as a community is that there's going to be this definite shift towards like access as ownership. So I think we're looking towards a future where no one really owns anything. So we have like subscription services like Netflix and Spotify. No one obviously owns DVDs or CDs anymore, unless you like keep it vintage. So why shouldn't it be the same for clothes? I think is the direction that we're moving in. There's been a massive rise in fashion disruptors and people who are rental or reselling platforms. And as this generation is one that's much happier to thrift and prides itself on thrifting, we want to kind of take that attitude and shift it towards something that can help our planet. So while I think physical retail and the novelty of like going to the shop has definitely become a lot more common, I think in the future there just won't be that anymore, or maybe it will be like all combined into one, or maybe, I don't know, but it's exciting, and I definitely think that we're changing things for the good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's lots of talk about the pandemic accelerating different mindsets and change. So, you know, it really is a fascinating, exciting time to be part of the industry. Definitely.
And such a good opportunity as well. Obviously, it's been terrible, but like this has really been a time for everyone to slow down as well and just like take a step back and like breathe and like evaluate what it is that you do and like your own behaviors, especially when it comes to like shopping and spending. So yeah, it has been exciting for us definitely, to be part of that mindset.
And yeah, you mentioned, Alex, a few partners or a few people you work in collaboration with. There's just a question here from Sarah. Does Nuw have investors, and if so, how did you go about fundraising?
So we've actually just finished our crowdfunding campaign. It ended last week and we were so glad that it ended, but we managed to raise, we're overfunded actually. And we also opened up our investors to our community. So it means that a lot of our renewers are part owners in Nuw. But other than that, we went about fundraising with some incredible companies. So we already had funding from Sustainable Ventures, which is a fantastic initiative supporting sustainable startups. We also received a loan from the London Fashion Fund. And Roshan, is there anyone that I'm forgetting?
Yeah, Bethnal Green Ventures, a venture capital company. So it's a mixture of those guys and then obviously some angel investors, and then most recently is the crowd fund, obviously given access to the public to have a slice of the new pie, as we say.
Definitely.
The pie is getting bigger.
The pie is big, but we're really glad to see that so many people have slices.
Brilliant. I think that's all for questions at the moment.
Fantastic.
The quiz.
Yeah, shall we move on to a little bit of a quiz time?
Yeah.
Just as a reminder, everyone, so the stakes are high. If you get third place, we'll give you a month free of access to Nuw. If you win second place, you'll get 3 months, and if you go first, you'll get 6 months. So it's basically free fashion for a really long time. So you can't say no. But if you contact Hannah or contact me, I'll be posting my email, so you can get in touch and turn on that horrible sound. You can get in touch and we'll award it for you. So if you'd like to join, the Kahoot pin is 1547902. If you go to kahoot.it or open your Kahoot app, I appreciate that everyone has been doing a lot of Zoom quizzes. Then you can just type this in and yeah, we can do a little quiz. I'm going to adjust that a little bit more because I feel like it's so invasively loud. Got 7 people in so far. 6 months free on a Nuw app up for grabs. We'll just give it a couple of minutes for everyone to get in.
Great opportunity. I'm slightly envious that I can't take part.
I mean, you could, Hannah, if you like.
I feel like I'd be taking away from them. I think it's a great concept though. Really, really brilliant business.
Yeah, we're excited by it. Everything's really new at the moment as well, no pun intended. But things have changed so much over the last few months. And yeah, it's going to carry on changing. So it's exciting stuff to.
I imagine it's been a very steep learning curve.
Yes, like I was saying before, like everyone's got different hats. Everyone's learning something new every single week. So yes, very, very steep learning curve, but like so unbelievably beneficial as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay, all right, we're going to start in a second. Is everyone on who wants to be on? All right, we've got 3, 2, 1, and we're off. Ignore that it says LinkedIn learning session. Okay, how many full bathtubs does it take to make 1 cotton t-shirt? Just love this picture of Julia Roberts, to be honest.
Oh, is that who it was? I was trying to work out.
Pretty woman.
memory, that was a really deep bathtub as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. 22 is correct.
Very good listening from everyone.
Evie in the win though. Let's see what happens next. Okay, how many times should you wear a piece of clothing to make it sustainable? This is recommended by Livia Firth, whose husband is Colin Firth. Of course, she's a lot more impressive in her own right.
And Alex, it's also to do with speed, this quiz, isn't it? So the quicker you hit on that answer, the correct
The more points you get. Fantastic. Evie's still in the win. She's quick on that buzzer. Okay, where can you find the most sustainable clothing? Fair Wear Foundation certified, on Depop, in your wardrobe, or on Good For You. It's a really good app for rating brands, in case you don't know. Fantastic, in your wardrobe. You guys have been listening. I really appreciate it. Ooh, Izzy Claire, you've got the highest answer streak though. Competition's getting tough. Okay, what does a fashion revolution ask? Who made my clothes? Where are my clothes from? How were my clothes made? And what's in my clothes? They probably ask all of the above, but they're pretty famous for one hashtag.
Well, people are responding even before you've started going through the first.
I'm a slow chatter. Perfect. Who made my clothes? All the other questions are completely valid, but who made my clothes is their biggie. Gemma's taken the lead. Becca, you're up 5 places as well. Oh, I love this. How many miles can you drive with the amount of CO2 it takes to make a cotton t-shirt? 2, 18, 7, or 6? This is from Thelma and Louise. 7 is correct. You can drive 7 miles for the amount of carbon dioxide it takes to make one cotton t-shirt. It's silly. Evie's back on top though.
He's fighting back.
Oh, it's happening. Right, number 6. So I didn't mention this, but it was the cover photo. But which brand's fall 2017 campaign was this? So I'm really sorry, this is technically an unfair question, but it's also really cool. It is sustainable fashion brand Stella McCartney. She is fantastic and well known for her work in sustainable fashion. Gemma's back. Evie and Gemma, this is a bitter fight, so I'm really excited to see where this goes.
1 point.
1 point. Come on, guys, you got this. So how does a CEO of Levi's recommend cleaning your jeans? Wash them at 30 degrees, leave them outside overnight, put them in the freezer, or just don't? That's the CEO of Levi's, by the way. Put them in the freezer is correct. So he says put them in. I have no idea why, no idea how, but apparently that's how it works. And
Does that take mud and things off, or does it just freshen them up?
Just how he says to clean them.
Give it a go.
I know, I'm gonna give it a go. Test it out and see what happens. Right, next question. We are more than halfway through. Globally, what value of clothes ends up in landfill each year? $200 billion, $13 billion, $400 billion, or $500 billion? It's $500 billion. Mixed feelings on that. I did say all of those numbers at different times, but that was that one. Ooh, Marit is crawling up the ranks. Let's see what will happen. Okay, so which of these is not a sustainable plant-based fiber? Got Tencel, Aral, Veganol, and Pinatex. This might be a bit of a tricky one. It is Aral. That is the sea in Uzbekistan, which now does sadly not exist. Maybe it would have if we had used all these items beforehand, but Marit is now in first place. Ainsley's also calling up, Claude is calling up. We are doing a great job, guys. Okay, question 10 of 15. There's a joke in China, you can tell the it color of the season by looking at the color of the what? Okay, we have dogs, ground, rivers, or fish. It is the rivers. Sorry for the trick imagery. That was not intentional.
You could probably tell from the dogs as well, though.
I know. Well, in Mumbai, yes.
Oh, in Mumbai that was, okay.
Marie, you have an answer streak of 10. This is fantastic. Okay, question 11. What is this called? The shopping triangle, a pyramid scheme, the hierarchy of needs, or the hierarchy of shopping? It is the hierarchy of needs. It could be a pyramid. It's not a pyramid scheme. But really good listening. Really good job, guys. Ooh, not changed. People calling up.
Evie's fighting back there.
Gotta focus. Which major city do we not have ambassadors in yet? So there's Cambridge, Oxford, Dublin, and London. Oxford is correct. If you are interested in being a new ambassador, please obviously reach out. We have started a new digital brand ambassador scheme. It's very new, it's in trial phase, but we're really excited about it. So if you want to be involved, please let me know. Ooh, Marie is holding on there. Evie's just behind. Maureen has climbed up. Only 3 questions left, guys. Who is this? Lauren, congrats. Lauren, bravo. Lauren, hooray, or Lauren, well done. I'll be really interested to see responses. I'm sure she gets this a lot. The author of How to Break Up with Fast Fashion. There's Lauren, bravo. Well done to the 10 of you who got that. For everyone who didn't, yeah, fair play. It's a synonym. Ooh, Evie is back up. Marie has gone down to 2nd, Gemma 3rd, Claude 4th, and Sarah is 5th. We've still got 2 questions left, so this is anyone's game.
This is the last question, though.
There's 2 last questions. So what days do we host the NLWA and London Love Not Landfill Stop and Swap? On Wednesdays, on Thursdays, every single day, or on Sunday? It's happening this week. You're welcome to join if you are in North London, and you'll get a month free on Nuw. It's on Wednesday, so we have it every single Wednesday from 6:30 till 8:30. It's 2 hours, but you get access to this fantastic stop and swap with all these beautiful clothes, really. Evie still on top, but Millie is on fire with a higher answer streak of 6. Okay, guys, it's the last question. Anyone's game. Are you ready? How many times can you borrow or swap per month on Nuw? 4, 8, 20, or unlimited? It's my favorite scene of Mean Girls. Unlimited. You can borrow and swap as much as you like at the moment on Nuw. Okay, so who's got what? With 1 month free on the Nuw app, we have Gemma. Congratulations. With 3 months free, we have Marie. Congrats. And with a whole 6 months free on the Nuw platform, we have Evie. So well done, you guys. Thank you so much for listening and for paying attention. We obviously really appreciate it, and we'll be happy to add these to your account, change things. Obviously, get in touch with Hannah or get in touch with me, and we can organize that for you. But that's it from me today. That's everything. If you guys have any other questions or want to hit us up with anything, you can reach us on the Nuw Wardrobe website, on the Nuw app, on Instagram. We are Nuw. Same on Twitter, same on Facebook, same on LinkedIn. But yeah, just thank you so much for having us. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. And if those winners, I have to put my contact details into the chat. So please can the winners reach out to me, and then I can reach out to you, Alex, and to Roisin. But
thank you so much.
Thank you very much for giving up your time today to come and share this really exciting initiative. And I wish you luck.
Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to, yeah, I think I'm going to head and sign up to the app.
Oh, there you go. Thank you so much.
I've definitely got more than I need in my wardrobe.
Oh, and it's just an easy way to update it.
Yeah,
you
no,
end up uploading everything, but then you end up just swapping more out and adding to it as well. But yeah, please do sign up. We'd love to have you, and yeah, join the new community.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Have a good day.